I've helped dozens of realtors, wholesalers, and real estate businesses in their marketing. In this video, I'm going to review the step-by-step frameworks that I've used to generate hundreds of thousands worth of deals in the shortest amount of time. And the best part is these frameworks work for virtually any real estate business. So let's go. So since COVID, there have been four main pillars that have been crucial for the success of the top producing realtors and real estate businesses. And that is content, paid ads, lead magnets, and then email marketing. We're going to go over all four of these, and it's more than ever important to understand each of these, especially going into 2026, because they actually matter now more than ever before. So the first is producing content. So most realtors get stuck when it comes to posting content because they just don't know what things they should actually be posting. And this is the first step. And there are usually three main categories when it comes to producing highly revenue-driven and customer-driven content. And the first is educational content. So things like monthly and quarterly local market updates, how interest rates affect buying power. You can do step-by-step buying and selling breakdowns or FAQ answers. And then the second thing you want to do is social proof. And this is very, very crucial for building trust. So basically, you want to do client testimonials. You can do just sold posts with the backstory of them if you don't have any photos. You can do behind the scenes stuff, so staging, offers, and negotiations. And then you can do before and after transformations. A little thing just before we get into the next one thing that works really well is if you have a client testimonial and you can actually go to their house or have them come to your office and you can record like an organic vertical facing video with them, introducing yourself, telling you what you do, and then the experience that they had working with you. That is by far the best. I just gave you some sauce right there. Post that. You can use that as ads, which we're going to break down in a bit. And you can post that on your organic channel and incorporate it somehow in an educational piece of long form content, or honestly, just short form content in general. And the last thing is local authority. So if you want people to move to your area, or some people are relocating or selling in your area, what you want to do is establish yourself as the authority in your local market. So neighborhood guides, video tours of you actually in the neighborhood. So, you're actually someone who lives there, or proving someone who lives there. Local businesses, you want to go there, restaurant spotlights. If you can actually show up to those places and collab with these people, that's a little bit over the top. You don't have to do that. Just at least giving them some sort of recognition, something to, again, build the trust that you are in the area that the people, or that you're claiming to actually be in. And then, things like community events, best of lists, new development, zoning changes, all that kind of stuff follows the same principle, right? Just proving that you are in the location you're talking about and you know everything about it, all the market updates, etc. And the last thing I want to break down is all three of these things, educational content, social proof, and local, should be split. So majority of your content should be educational, just simply because this is the easiest to produce long form content. It's the easiest to resonate with a lot of with the largest amount of people, especially if you're in an area where a lot of people are desired to move to. For example, like Florida, Miami, Tampa, etc., stuff like that. Then 30% of your content should be social proof, and the other 30% should be these, local business spotlights, etc. kind of stuff. Now, the next thing most people trip up about is where to post your content, or more specifically, what's the process of posting on multiple platforms. And what I just suggest is figure out one platform and then literally just post all of your stuff on every single platform you can. So the first type of thing you can post are short form video content. You guys know about this: Shorts, TikTok, Reels. You see these all over the place. And this is basically just your reach engine. This is going to reach the most amount of people, and it's going to build awareness, and the algorithm is going to reward this over just the amount of followers that you have. And next is like long form YouTube. This is best for building trust, and it's a search engine optimization engine. It's number 2 search engine in the world. Then you can simultaneously post on Facebook and LinkedIn, and this is going to, post in communities, and this is going to build your referral engine. And what I suggest you do for Facebook is just post in local groups, and LinkedIn is really good for investors and relocating professionals. And then finally, just posting on your own blog, email lists, etc. And this is just a platform you own, and it can drive any sort of inbound traffic. It's the hub for your lead magnets to build more and more trust, and it repurposes your videos into posts. Now, like I said before, what I suggest you do is you pick one source, for example, YouTube, and then have 1 to 2 secondary sources so you can repurpose all of your content across every single one of these platforms so that you can get the maximum amount of reach, and you can get to the maximum amount of people in your specific total addressable market. Now, the cadence of posting is another thing that I hear all the time on how to actually execute and get this done. And what I suggest you do is have a weekly schedule. So 3 to 4 short form videos minimum is what I would do. You can batch film these, or you can take these from your long form content and you can distribute them across every single platform. This is where you're going to get the most amount of reach, is in your short form videos. Then have one long form YouTube video. This is the cornerstone of the week. This is where you're going to jam pack all of what you've learned up until the point, recent market updates, etc. This is the dense information-based video that's going to basically drive all of your highest quality traffic eventually once you have a seasoned YouTube account. And then what you want to have is 2 to 3 social posts on Facebook and LinkedIn. And you can have 1 blog post or a newsletter, which is basically just a written version of the video that you already created. So if you want to look at this from a systematic standpoint, if you're an operator or owner, you're going to want someone hired to actually be doing all of this for you. And so just create a long form video. If you need someone to script out the videos for you, obviously, there's services that you can have for that. But, assuming, let's say you have your script and you recorded the video, then what you can do is have either someone under you take clips from your long form video, turn them into short videos, take the transcript from your long form video, turn that into a newsletter, and then have 2 to 3 social posts that are just literally based on the short form videos as well. And you can even have 2 to 3 social posts based on 1 long form video and post it on Facebook and LinkedIn. And you're just cross-referencing all of your material so that you can stay top of mind, so that you can be the local trusted authority, or even honestly internationally, depending on your brand. And so for batch creation, when it actually comes to creating these videos, if you're solo and you want to do this yourself, which I recommend because you have the most control, if you don't have the bandwidth, obviously I understand, but assuming you can do it, what I would do is block 1 day a week for filming and writing. If you have time, like let's say on a Monday when it's, business can, depending on the location, I've heard a lot of mixed things, but just to choose 1 day a week. Could be Monday, could be Sunday, whatever. And then you're going to want to shoot all of the clips, have 1 long video in a single session, and then you want to write and schedule everything at once. The next pillar is paid ads. And before we get into this, I just want to mention that content is by far the most important thing that you're going to be doing and leveraging in order to get the highest quality clients. And because you're getting the highest quality clients, you can have the most amount of margins from those clients. But moving into paid ads, you need to know how to run these because these are going to amplify your content times 100, 1,000, whatever. You need to know what platform you're going to choose. Every single one of them have their advantages and disadvantages. And we're going to break that down right now. So the first is meta ads. This is Facebook and Instagram ads. So who this is best for are beginners that have never really run lead gen campaigns before, and you're literally just looking to acquire your first set of customers from ads. You're looking to retarget warm audiences, promote your existing listings, and have local brand awareness. Now, next is Google ads, and these are going to be the search and display ads. The reason these are advantageous is because it captures the highest intent traffic because people are actively typing when they go on Google, homes for sale in whatever city you're in, best agent near me, what's my home worth in city, etc. And your search ads sit at the top of the results right when someone's actually looking in that particular moment. So they're in the market, the intent is high, and they work across the Google network for retargeting and awareness as well. And these are best for catching buyers and sellers actively in search mode. The downside to this, because it sounds really great, is the fact that the cost per click is extremely high. And because the cost per click is high, or the CPM is really high, cost per 1,000 impressions, this is going to drive your obviously cost per closed deal way up. And it's not really scalable depending on your budget, especially if you're starting out. This is good for established brands that have, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars a month to spend on Google search ads specifically, because if you don't, you're going to be outcompeted by those specific brands. So this is good depending on obviously the market share, other things, etc. But this is not the main driver. The last thing is YouTube ads. And this is massively underused in real estate, especially for real estate agents specifically. And it's a huge opportunity because you can have pre-roll video ads that let you build personal connection in a way that text and images cannot. And you can target by location and interest, people that are like searching relevant keywords similar to Google ads, but obviously you're going to be showing it on the YouTube platform instead of Google. So it's not particularly in that moment per se, but it's someone who's in the market, been actively searching those keywords within, the past week or past couple of weeks. And These are best also for lead generation, warming up cold audiences, and promoting your long form content, as well as retargeting engaged viewers. Now, this is the best of both worlds of meta ads, where it really has like a low cost per click and a cost per lead, but the quality can be compromised, along with on the other side of the spectrum, Google ads is high intent traffic, but the cost per lead is extremely high. This is somewhere sitting right in the middle, and you get the best of, a decent cost per lead while also getting a nice cost per close deal as well. So what this means is it's basically, if you can run YouTube ads correctly and you script the creatives right, your offer is good enough, this is why it's massively underused in real estate. So how much should you actually spend on this kind of stuff? Well, it's important to understand for solo and small teams, you don't really want to go over $1,500 a month, and you definitely don't want to go under $500 a month, because you need enough spend in order to generate enough impressions. And what I would do is just have 50% of your ads go towards actual lead generation, 30% to retargeting, and then 20% to awareness-based campaigns. And this is going to create an ecosystem of your ads, which are going to feed each other and eventually lead them into the lead generation pipeline, especially the retargeting and awareness ads, which are just going to get them to convert later on. Now, for high performers, teams, or brokerages, the minimum I would spend is $100 a day or $3,000, upwards of $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 a month, because you just want to scale toward what's already returning from this type of budget when you're starting out, and then obviously just double down on what's already working. Now, the things to track, I've been using some of these metrics already in this video. CPL, your cost per lead. On Meta, you're going to see anywhere from $15 to $70. To be honest with you, it depends on the real estate business. This is a large range. It can be even as low as $5 per lead, to be honest. But if you're running, like, for example, like cash offer deals, if you're a wholesaler, you're going to see upwards of, like, with meta ads, like $50 to $70. On Google and YouTube, $30 to $75 for realtors, and you can see is upwards of $250 to $300 cost per lead, even higher, to be honest, depending on what kind of niche you're running for wholesalers as well. But they're going to be higher intent. The next metric you want to track is your cost per appointment. So how many leads actually become real conversations, and then your ROAS, so your return on ad spend. So what you would do is track over 90 days and 6-month windows as well. The longer you run, the better. But obviously some people don't have the patience for that. But it's important to know, hey, if I'm spending $1, how many dollars am I getting back out of that? For $1, you should be getting anywhere from like $5 to $6 for return on investment. And for ROAS, you should be seeing anywhere from 8 to 10x return on your ad spend minimum. If you do it correctly, you can literally crack down, especially with YouTube ads, you can crack down on the market. You can get somewhere easily between like a 15 to 20x ROAS, like not even a problem. And that's actually pretty typical. And it's if you're getting like a 4 to 5x ROAS, although that looks good on paper, after obviously you're paying, contractors, employees, et cetera, it actually isn't really that good of a performer. So the key rule, though, out of all this is you don't want to kill your campaigns too early. 2 to 4 weeks minimum for running ads, and you need to spend at least $500 before making any decisions. You want to test creatives, you want to swap audiences, and you want to let the data lead the way. And you need to understand how to actually read these metrics, because if you're not reading them properly, then you're making uneducated decisions. This is an unemotional game. This is a game about numbers and what's working and what's not. Now, the creative side is a different story, but you need to know exactly what metrics you're tracking and why they're performing the way they are, so you know what levers to pull. The next pillar I want to go over are lead magnets and their function. And their main function is it takes people out of the interest stage and puts them into the action stage, because the problem is most agents ask people to jump from they viewed your ad, they've never seen you before from the first time, to then just hire me on the spot. And this is way too big of a leap, especially with the trust recession right now for the past 5 years. So what a lead magnet offers is something valuable in exchange for their contact info that's low risk for them because they're not spending any money for it, depending on the service you're providing. And it's high value for you because you get their information. Obviously, you do what you got to do in order to get their information and some more of it. And it gives you permission to follow up. It turns every video, ad, and site into a potential lead. And this, obviously, more leads, more sales. So how do you get them in front of people? This is the number one question. You want to have dedicated landing pages. So have one clear call to action, a benefit-driven headline. You can use special websites like Card, Lead Pages, or your own CRM. You also want to have website integration. So exit intent pop-ups, opt-in forms, blog posts, homepage banners, sticky bars, anything that's going to get people to see your value that you're going to provide and make sure that they don't exit out before they can consume something that's actually going to be valuable for them so that you can be established as the expert and they're going to be getting something that's actually going to help them, right? The next thing you want to do are content call to action. So end every video with a lead magnet plug, link in bio, reference them in social posts, click the button below to access the lead magnet now, input your name and email to access the lead magnet, et cetera, et cetera. It's done the same thing with paid ads as well. Just have lead gen campaigns literally drive your viewers straight to these pages. And what you do as well is once they're driven and they submit their information, have an instant automated delivery. So email should trigger on an opt-in and then adds them to your CRM, gives them a welcome sequence, sends them videos, testimonials, etc. And for example, any lead magnet that you decide to run, whether it's an ebook, video guide, etc. And now for the last pillar, we have the most underrated and, in my opinion, the most misunderstood platform, which is email marketing. The thing you have to understand with email marketing is the fortune is in the follow-ups, and it's the only audience that you actually own because algorithms change, reach drops, ad costs rise up, and your email list of existing prospects are your literal only true asset that you have. And the average return just based on last year in 2025 was that for every dollar spent, you earn on average of $36 to $42 with email marketing, at least obviously done optimally. And with active nurture, it leads to shorter conversions and a higher lifetime value of your customers because most agents are going to ignore their list and they're just going to send generic blasts that nobody opens, right? Low status, low value stuff that every other realtor's sending. People have tons of options to do it. And then they just end up going with the person that is most relevant within that particular time frame or someone that, actually did email marketing right. And the thing is, email takes leads from content, ads, magnets, and converts them into clients over weeks, months, and years. The first thing you want to do is have a welcome sequence. And these are 5 automated emails over the course of 7 to 14 days. This is what I've noticed. This isn't too crazy. This isn't, overloading somebody with 20 messages a day. It's just enough to build trust, keep you top of mind, and provide good value. So the first email obviously is delivering the goods, hand over the lead magnet, the quick intro, and you want to set expectations of what you're going to be delivering. And then email number 2, let's say they don't respond in time. What you'll do is you'll have your story. So why you got into real estate, what drives you, because in 2026, you want to build a human connection, not a pitch. There's a balance right now of, people liking you and people trusting you. And people don't like people they don't trust. So you need to build trust, but also you don't want to just provide them with so much value without also adding that human element. So you need to obviously incorporate that somehow, whether it's through your story, whether it's through another method. But this is usually what I'd recommend on email number 2 and usually day 2 to 3. The third email is social proof. So upload a specific client success story, the challenge that most of your clients faced, the approach you had with it, and then the result that they achieved because of your approach. And what you'll do is just include a testimonial or video link. This is the easiest way to do it. Like I said before, if you can have literally a video of you standing with your phone like this with your client, a past client obviously, that had a successful interaction and experience with your service, just record yourself doing it, explaining to them, the results you got for them, why they went with you, and then introducing yourself, obviously, first. And these are going to absolutely kill it. I'm literally giving you sauce. I know I said this before, just try that out. I'm serious. The next thing you want to do is, and then email number 4 is just provide more value. So have a checklist, provide more tips, market insight. Always keep giving before asking. And then the final thing is email number 5. So it's the invitation. So day 10 to 14 is what you would do is offer a free consultation or personalized analysis. Just send them a direct calendar link or a reply to this call to action. And the last thing you want to do is have them on a newsletter. So this is staying top of mind long-term for clients that are, let's say, 6 months out from selling, maybe 12 months out, et cetera. And what I would do is just have them on a weekly or bi-weekly newsletter because the consistency matters more than the frequency. Okay, what you want to send is just local market updates with your own take, new or featured listings, client wins, testimonials like we've talked about, repurposed video and blog content, personal stories behind the scenes, everything that we talked about with your content. This is what you want to add in your newsletter. In either you can add the videos, hyperlinks in them and embed them, or just turn those videos into written format content. And all you want to do is just provide that to them and just keep, like I said, keep them top of mind. And the thing to understand with the newsletter is that these seem like it's doing a lot, but I'm going to be honest with you, no realtor is actually doing this, or much less realtors are doing this than you're actually thinking. Only a select few realtors in your area are doing consistent newsletters where they're actually giving good, valuable information, uploading client testimonials, posting their content, cross-referencing it. And because of that, you are getting the competitive edge amongst most realtors in your area, if not all of them, depending on your location. And this is what's going to set you at the top. This is what's going to drive your business, whether you're a wholesaler, investor, agent, whatever. You want to keep yourself top of mind. And this is how you get it done. Now that I've shown you the best marketing strategy for 2026, you're probably asking yourselves, how do I actually implement this tactically? Lucky for you, I've recorded an entire guide going over how to set up your ad account, create ads that build trust at scale, and implement winning lead magnets that convert your audience into clients. And I'll link that right here. That aside, this is the end of the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.